Hello students, welcome to the world of history and we are on the chapter Nationalism in India. You remember the last lecture which we did? Yes, non-corporation movement. It's going to be started and let's see how it was there in towns and cities. The main heading of the topic is different strands within the movement. So for this we are going to towns and see how people are not cooperating. Let's begin with the participation of the middle class and what they did. They left the government control offices. Especially they are focusing on the school and colleges. So teachers left the school, headmaster resigned. And if teacher and headmasters are not there, what students are going to go? Nothing. So it was a good time for students, unfortunately not for the country. Lawyers also gave up their legal practices. And everywhere within the country, the council elections were boycotted. Unfortunately, in Madras, Justice Party, remember Justice Party, the non-Brahmins party, they did not boycott the election. Ask a question, why? See, understand, it's a non-Brahmin party. This is a right time. If I contest election, I'll come into power and that power can bring change into my section of society. Because it's always power is associated with the Brahmins in our country. Let's see what happened next. The effect of non-cooperation on the economic front. Remember, when you are leaving the job, it's going to have some impact on your employer. Now we are working for the Britishers. Let's see what was that impact. Foreign goods were boycotted. Everywhere they were bonfired. People were actually boycotting their goods, whatever they have, which they have purchased from the English company or English society. Now, liquor shops were picketed and many places our traders and merchants refused to sell or buy the British product. This is happening exactly what Gandhiji thought of. If we continue doing this, this will have a good impact on our industries also. This is a positive impact. So if you're not going to use the British goods, definitely you're going to use some Indian made goods, that is Desi, Swadeshi goods. And this was the time where Indian textile industries grew in number. And this has an adverse impact on the trade which we had with the Britishers. If you see the impact, let's say in number. In 1922, the value of the trade was around 102 crores. It came down during this period to just 57 crore. लॉजिक बहुत सिंपल है बेटा. अगर आप कहीं पर बिजनेस कर रहे हो और बिजनेस अगर नहीं चल रहा है तो कितने दिन तक वो चलाओगे? आपको फिर वो बंद करके जाना पड़ेगा. And this is the reason why Gandhiji wanted that non-corporation movement should be successful, so that Britishers actually feel that loss, economical loss, and then they leave our country. But what was the impact? It's little different. Khadi, as you know, which we are wearing, is an expensive. It's an handmade thing. And most of us were working for them. So if we were on job, we were paid less. On that, we have to purchase something which is little expensive. Consider you are not on job. Are you in position to purchase these goods? No. And whenever you are deciding to participate in any of such kind of movements, you need to have some backup. That means you are leaving schools, you are leaving government offices, but do you had your backups? How long you are going to sit up at home and just wait that they will leave, our government will come and then you'll get the job? It's not going to happen in a day or so. So slowly and steadily, people started going back to their jobs. Unfortunately, this was the slowing down of non-corporation movement. I'll take you to countryside now. मतलब खेती बाड़ी, गांव, imagine करो. So in countryside, we are focusing in a region called Awadh. Herein they'll be speaking like Audh. So a movement was launched here by Baba Ramchandra, and he is a sannyasi. He was an indentured laborer in Fiji. He came back from there and led this peasant movement. When you're leading a movement, it has to be against someone. So it was against the talukdars and the landlords. And why you are launching this movement? Because these people were actually taking high taxes. They were charging high amount from the poor peasants. Peasants were forced to do begar. Now understand, this word is begar, not beggar. Begar means आपको bonded labor करना है. कोई payment नहीं होगी पर आपको काम करके देना है. I am sure nobody is going to like that. Now what was the demand of the peasants? Because they were not happy what's happening around, so demands were very simple. You reduce the revenue, the taxes which you are collecting from us. Also, abolition of begar. That means we are not going to give you a free service. Nothing is free in this world. And for this, they decided that they are going to socially boycott you. The oppressive one, not everyone, the one who is an oppressor. The problem was with these peasants that they were tenants. मतलब भाड़े पे काम करने वाले. आपके खेत पर मैं काम कर रहा हूँ तो आपको मुझे थोड़ा सा रेंट देना है. On that, my tenure did not fix. You used to come anytime and then ask me to leave the field with the yield over there. That means सारी benefit किसकी हो गई? आपकी हो गई. So many places, these villages and the panchayat decided that we are not going to give you any services. Especially, they started this movement with Nai Dhobi Bandh. Nai means barber, Dhobi means washerman. Now during the same time when this was happening, Jawaharlal Nehru went there. He met these villages and got to know about the grievances. कि भाई problem क्या आप लोगों की? And after hearing the grievances, he organized them into a sabha. And the name given was Audh Kisan Sabha. Within no time, 300 branches came across the Awadh region. And the leaders were Jawaharlal Nehru, Baba Ramchandra and many other local people. Interestingly, when non-corporation movement started, these people have already started attacking the houses of talukdars and merchants. Now when I'm attacking, don't you think it is going against the ideology of Gandhiji? Yes, of course. Now let's see what's happening. Bazaars were looted, the grains were hoarded and they were taken and distributed. Now everywhere the violence is spreading, and the reason is what? That Gandhiji has said to this, and this is the reason why Congress was unhappy. मतलब हर काम के पीछे आपको एक गांधी जी के नाम का बैकअप मिल गया, and which is not true. Gandhiji never said to use violence for your means. Now, during the countryside when we talk, remember Audh Kisan Sabha becomes a very important topic, but in countryside we have something called forest also. So I'll take you to Goodam Hills of Andhra Pradesh. Here consider yourself as Adivasi and go back to your 9th standard, Forest Society and Colonism. You remember British rule? Yes. Protection of forest, reservation of forest. You are not entitled to go inside the forest, and to go inside the forest you have to take permission, which was not given. Remember that and come back to Goodam Hills here in nationalism in India. So, in 1920, a militant guerrilla movement was started here. Militant guerrilla movement. नाम सुना सुना लगता है. If you recollect Shivaji Maharaj, sudden attack, surprise attack and winning over your enemy. So this is that militant guerrilla warfare started here in Goodam Hills by a local leader. We are going to discuss about him here. Now why it was started? Simple question is why it was started? Because here you were forced not to go inside the forest. You cannot take your animals also, which was your customary right. Now here the leader who is leading the movement is Alluri, Sitaram, Raju. This gentleman has got special power. That's what he's been described with. Now, what are the special power? He can make correct astronomical predictions. On that, he can heal many people, many illness. And because he is so famous there, one thing used to strike everyone, he can withstand even a bullet shot. मतलब अगर मैं इन्हें गोली मारूंगा तो भी ये उस गोली से नहीं मरेंगे. भाई भगवान ही होंगे शायद. And that was the reason why people proclaimed here that he is the reincarnation of God, अवतार हैं भगवान के. And who is this gentleman? Alluri Sitaram Raju. Alluri Sitaram Raju was a disciple of Gandhiji. He used to like his ideology, and that's why when non-corruption movement was started, he persuaded people to wear khadi and give up drinking, the local people within the Goddam Hills. At the same time, he also felt that India will not get independence if we just follow what Gandhiji is saying. We need to be little aggressive in our demands. And keeping that in mind, he started attacking the police station. He killed many British officers who were related to forest law. Unfortunately, this gentleman was captured in 1924 and he was shot dead, but he became a local folk hero. Ask a question why he was shot dead. You will get an interesting answer. They wanted to prove Indians that how backward and primitive you people are with your thoughts. कि आपने एक बंदे को ऐसा सोच लिया कि वो भगवान का अवतार है और गोली से भी नहीं मरेगा. And that's the reason why they shot him. I'll take you to another place in India, which is Assam, northeast. Why is Assam famous for? Yes, plantation. So let's see our heading, Swaraj in plantation. Plantation space is confined. You as a worker cannot move out of this confined space. This was happening in India, in Assam during the British rule. Inland Immigration Act of 1859 came, wherein people were allowed to go back to their places from they have been coming to work. Most of them were indentured labor who are coming from central part of India, Bihar, Orissa, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. This is the current places which I am talking about. As per this act, I can allow you to go back to your home from wherever you are coming. Unfortunately, the permission was never given. The permission was denied always. And during this time, when non-corporation movement was started, thousands of workers left their plantation and they started heading home. Unfortunately, they never reached to their destination. Ask why? It's non-corporation movement. So, they can only travel through steamer or a railway. Unfortunately, both of them were on strike. So, police went there and captured all these plantation workers, brought them back to their plantations. Here in these plantations worker used to think that Gandhi Raj is coming. ये सोचते थे कि गांधी राज आएगा. The question comes, what is this Gandhi Raj? Gandhi Raj is very simple. They felt कि there all the problems will be sorted out. They'll be going back to their home. They are not supposed to pay high rents now. They will be entitled to hold the property, the land. This is what they were thinking. In short, Alice in Wonderland. बस सपने थे ये. Now, when they were coming back from the railway station to the plantation, they were chanting a slogan. This very important slogan, Swatantra Bharat. See, you are a plantation worker. Your movement is confined to one space. And it's a very specific movement for your benefit. But look at the slogan, Swatantra Bharat, which means you are connecting this with the independence of your nation. So this becomes one of the most important part of this topic. See, the movement was going good, but if you are attentive, most of the places you have seen, violence was spreading. There was one incident which actually led to the call of this movement. So this we call as an immediate cause. Chauri Chaura, a small place in Gorakhpur district, eastern Uttar Pradesh. Herein, 22 police people were set on fire by the mob. Unfortunately, this incident led Gandhiji to call of this movement because it was turning violent. Now, you keep on revising. I'll come up with the next topic to see what happened after this. Thank you so much. Hello students, welcome back. As I promised, this is the last topic, but interesting topic and the most important one. What is the topic? sense of collective belonging. Remember, we begin this chapter by saying that how is that we started feeling that we are Indians. थोड़ी देर पीछे जाते हैं and ask yourself, before Britishers came to India, were we Indians? Answer is no. Either we were Marathas, Sikhs, Jat, Rajput, Rashtrakuta, Chandelas, Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, and so on, so on, so on. Where are Indians? बॉस इंडियंस तो हम कभी थे ही नहीं. तो ब्रिटिशर्स आए, उसके बाद चीजें अनफोल्ड हुई एंड देन वी स्टार्टेड रियलाइजिंग ओ वी आर इंडियंस. सो हाउ इज दैट we started feeling that we are Indians, we are one? How is that that sense came that collectively we belong to this nation? See, this sense started through this revolts, revolutions, the fight with the Britishers. You have a common problem. So wherever you are in India, whether you are in North India or in South India, you are struggling against the common enemy. And then you realize there is something which is binding us together. Let's see what all those things are. See, history and fiction, folklore and songs, popular prints and symbols. These are the things which played major role in bringing us together apart from united struggle. Now one by one we are going to see how these things created nationalism in Indians. We move to first one. See, remember this gentleman, very famous, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. He wrote Vande Mataram, a hymn to our nation. एक तरीके से इसे भजन कहते हैं, बट ये भजन नहीं, एक सॉन्ग है और आपने कई बार सुना है. जोशीला सॉन्ग. आप इसे सुनते ही जोश आता है, नेशनलिज्म आता है. Now, this song was put into his book called आनंद मठ. आनंद मठ एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग किताब है. जब ये लिखी गई थी, ब्रिटिशर्स ने इस किताब को बैन कर दिया था. रीजन वॉज व्हेन यूथ गोइंग थ्रू दिस बुक एंड रीडिंग दिस बुक, दे स्टार्टेड फीलिंग दैट यस, वी नीड टू डू समथिंग फॉर आवर nation, we need to fight with our enemy. In the same book, he also characterized the Bharat Mata. Now let's see what happened to this Bharat Mata and how Bharat Mata played a major role. We have another interesting figure, Abhindranath Tagore. He first painted the image of Bharat Mata, and this is that image, wherein he has shown Bharat Mata as calm, composed, divine and spiritual. An ascetic figure, when I say ascetic, it simply means sadhvi. Now these characters were actually put in Anand Math by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Now we move to next part, and herein we are going to talk about, apart from Bharat Mata, the flag. We can see the Bharat Mata's image. Don't you think it is very different? Because subsequent years, Bharat Mata started being portrayed in a different way. Here you have Bharat Mata with the flag with all the religious symbols put across. Then in some images you will see Bharat Mata literally shown like goddess Lakshmi. So the images kept on changing, but one thing remained intact was that flag. Now we move to the next part, and it is about the folklore. फोकलोर मतलब किस्से कहानियाँ जो हमारे मट्टी की हैं, जो हमारी मिट्टी की हैं, वो किस्से कहानियाँ. Now why do you need to revive the folklore? You might have heard many times from your parents. They say कि आज का जो म्यूजिक है वो वाहियात है, खराब है, अच्छा नहीं है. And I'm sure their parents might be saying the same thing to them, because they feel कि the music, the song, the poetry, it's all been corrupted because of the inflow of the Western music, Western words, and lot of things. So herein, all our nationalist leaders, not all I would say, but many, and the important one, they started collecting the folk tales, the folk song, which was sung by the bards. Now when I say collecting, it's recording, and here recording doesn't mean the video or the audio, it's writing. And one gentleman who played major role is Rabindranath Tagore, or we call him Thakurji. See, Rabindranath Tagore led the movement for folk revival. He collected ballads, nursery rhymes, and all the myths. Now, when I say word ballad, nothing a short poem which is sung. And especially it's all about the king, the bravery, and the love story between the same time. And then you have nursery rhyme. एक मुझे याद आ रही है हिंदी में होती है चंदा मामा दूर के पुए पकाएं भूर के. So that one I don't remember the whole, but yes, it will do. Then you have myths. But myths are something which are not true, but they are coming from generations. And so you don't have a proof whether it is a wrong or right. So these are the myths. So he started collecting them. And why he is doing this? Because he wants to revive it. He wants to revive it and want to showcase the culture India had, the rich culture, which was actually put down by the Britishers. In Madras, Natesha Shastri, the gentleman on my right, he wrote 4 volumes of book on the folklore of southern India, and that was the name he gave. Simply, he also believed that folklore is the true national literature and it shows the character of a country. So again, he also believed what Rabindranath Tagore believed and propagated. We move to next part, and here we talk about icons and symbols. Check in the center. It's a national flag, a flag of that point of time. Please remember, you might have got MCQs and there are high chances that you will get MCQ based on these colors. See, Swadeshi movement in Bengal, they have got this flag wherein 3 colors are important. So which are these 3 colors? Red, green and yellow. Now the flag also changed as the movement progressed, as the years passed, and another flag came which was designed by Gandhiji himself in 1921, and this was a Swaraj flag. Again a tricolor. The colors have changed here and you can simply see the colors. So you have one very important thing apart from the color, and that is this wheel, the spinning wheel. Remember, what does it represent? It represents the ideals of self-help. Now carrying this flag was a symbol of defiance. आप जहां भी ये flag लिए जा रहे हो, लोग आपको पहचान लेंगे कि आप Indian हो. Now let's move to the next part and see what is the role of reinterpretation of history in creating nationalism. Question comes, why should you reinterpret your history? Logic is very simple. Either you have written it wrong or you are portraying something absolute which is not acceptable by the people. Now I would write my history or I would rewrite my history to instill this sense of pride among the people. Now why would I do that? Because I've been suffering. I've been portrayed as primitive, backward, barbaric, good for nothing. I can just copy but I cannot create. This is how Britishers show us. That is how they are showcasing our portrait, our characters, Indians. Now in response, we are not going to accept it. And what we are going to do is, we are going to rewrite the history. We are going to write about whatever we have achieved in every field. Because आप कह रहे हो कि आपने ये नहीं किया, वो नहीं किया, ऐसा नहीं किया, वैसा नहीं किया. तो मैं बताऊंगा कि मैंने क्या किया. So our historians started rewriting the history and they emphasized on everything wherever we have achieved. Starting from architecture, science, art, mathematics, religion, culture, law, philosophy, you say everything. Literally they wrote. And I'll give you some examples. How is that it is instilling that pride in you. See, they said we have done nothing. But if you remember, we are the one who gave you 0. So remember, the value of pi, the dot, everything came from India. The atomic theory, the astronomy, and even the architect. They used to say that our literature is substandard. But then, just to remind them, we have the world's largest epic, world's 2 best largest epics, Mahabharata and Ramayana. So where is that we are feeling short? We are still as good as anyone else, even better. But then problem was, when Britishers actually came, this glorious time which we had in our history started declining. You must have heard many times कि हम सोने की चिड़िया थे. See, when we say the word सोने की चिड़िया थे, it means we were one of the richest country, and to be very precise, till 80th century, till the end of 18th century, India was the richest country. तो ये पुअर कैसे हो गए हम? Why is that we are developing? Why is that we are counted in the third world country? It's just because the exploitation under the hands of Britishers. Now herein, all our nationalist leaders started taking up these history topics and discussing with the people so that they feel proud and they take pride in independence of our country. But there was a problem. Problem was, most of these examples taken from the history belong to Hindu kings or Hindu iconography or Hindu religion. So can you guess the problem? Yes, they use this to divide Hindus and Muslims. Now I end this chapter here. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Keep studying, keep revising, keep smiling. Thank you.